Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ground and Pound Podcast, PFL World Tournament Best Bets video. It's the middleweights, light heavyweights, and heavyweights this week. And as always, we need to talk parlays, we need to talk props, we need to talk money lines. And as always, if you're enjoying the content here on the Ground and Pound Podcast, hit that like and subscribe button. But before we get into the bets, we need to talk about last week's Wanted Man. $2 reward if you've seen Ian Parker. I like to let everybody know that he is a wanted man, and let's be real, $2 reward, that's about as much money as this man's ever going to make you. I'll let you guys read what he's wanted for. I have to let you guys know this week and last week, keep that momentum rolling. It's good luck for the bets to shit on Ian Parker. But now, without further ado, let's get right into the bets. And kicking things off, the confident slam parlay of the week, the one that I put the most money on every single week here in the PFL tournament. And kicking things off, we have Phil Davis here in the co-main event. I just think that Phil Davis is the better all-around fighter here against Chauvelin. Chauvelin is a nice fighter, very good at finishing the fight in the first round, but we know that Davis's high IQ, his experience, and his overall wrestling ability here, I think he's the more athletic striker. And as I said, I just think he's the much better all-around fighter. He kicks things off here in our first leg in our confident slam parlay. And the second leg, we have Oleg Popov here taking on Nascimento. I just think Oleg Popov here is going to do what he always does, man. He's going to use that grinding wrestling style, 20-2. It's proven to work, and it's proven to be very difficult to stop. Nascimento in his UFC days was getting taken down heavily in the first couple of rounds against Romanov. I think Popov can do the same thing here. I think he can take this fight to the ground. He's not going to have to worry about the submissions here. He's going to sit in half guard. He's going to use the ground and pound here to ultimately get the victory, whether it be by decision, whether it be by TKO on the ground late in this fight. But either way, I like both of these legs to get it done here. I feel very confident about the slam of the week this week. I think it definitely comes through here at about even money, plus 100, plus 102. It's in that ballpark. But give me these two legs. I think this cashes. And the confident parlay is the one that I put the most money on. This is the next level confidence that I have in this parlay. And to me, kicking things off, it's a no-brainer. We have Ali Walsh, the grandson of Muhammad Ali. I think he gets this done on the feet in the first two rounds. The power, the hand speed is going to be far too much here. He really just rounds this one out to get us to plus money here. Not a whole lot of value in Walsh. I understand if you guys want to leave him off, but he does get us to that plus money mark, and I think he gets it done inside the first two rounds here as a big favorite. And next up, we have Fabian Edwards, the brother of Leon Edwards over in the UFC, and him kicking things off here in the main event of this PFL World Tournament. I think he gets it done here against Silveira. Silveira is a little bit plodding on the feet, doesn't have good head movement. And to be perfectly honest with you, Fabian Edwards' is kickboxing and his overall striking ability is head and shoulders above Silveira. I could see him putting him out on the feet, maybe with a head kick, a step-in elbow like we saw in the last fight against Impa Kasanganay. Either way, I think the striking here of Edwards is going to do absolute wonders in this PFL Smart Cage this Saturday. I think he gets it done in the main event here with his striking. Just stay out of the clinch, Edwards, and you'll be fine. And for the third leg here of our second confident parlay, we've got Rafael Xavier here. I think he gets it done here against Carl Ulbrichtson. The much better striker, the faster hands, the absolutely explosive kicks. This guy puts everything into his shots, Muay Thai style. He'd chip away at the lead leg. And the thing that I noticed against Ulbrichtson is he is a little bit unathletic, very plodding, lacks head movement, and struggles with more athletic strikers, which is exactly what Rafael Xavier is. He rounds out this third leg of this second confident parlay here. I think this one gets it done again at plus money here in the PFL World Tournament. And next up, the final parlay, the one that I have the least amount of confidence in, but I think it still hits. I've got Simeon Powell moneyline here against Shoeface, Antonio Carlos Jr. I think this one's just a little bit tricky purely because we've seen with Simeon Powell, he does tend to struggle in certain fights. He hasn't necessarily lived up to the reputation. Looked good in his last fight. He did get the knockout. I think if he can bounce around on the outside, use his striking, not throw too many kicks, I think that the experience of Shoeface might play a factor here. He does have a little bit more experience inside the PFL Smart Cage and MMA Cage overall, but I do think that Simeon Powell's reach, his power and advantage in the striking could definitely pull this one out, but I just worry a little bit about the ability to get taken down here, but I have shown in the past that Simeon Powell has a good takedown defense and overall ability to keep fights standing. And next up for the second leg here to get us to plus money, we have Valentin Moldavsky taking on Romanov. I honestly believe that Romanov, he's a one-round guy, as we all know. His cardio doesn't last very long. I think as long as Moldavsky here keeps this one on the feet, I think he needs to use his footwork, maybe just pepper the jab a little bit, don't throw any kicks. And realistically, he's trained by Fedor Emelianenko, who I think he's going to give him a great game plan against a guy like Romanov. I think he keeps this one on the feet. I think ultimately in the second and third rounds when Moldavsky's going to take over, maybe even live bet Moldavsky after the first round. If he does get taken down and survive, you might be able to get plus money on him there. But that one rounds out the third parlay. And obviously those parlays are in confidence order, ladies and gentlemen. I'll leave you guys with those ones. That's what I'm betting on this week. And that rounds out the parlay section here on our best bets video. And next up with the money line plays, kicking things off, we have Dalton Roster at -120. And we're going to talk a little bit about keys to victory here for the American top team product, absolute physical specimen, coming off of his very impressive win against Sadabusi, getting the second round submission there. Was able to take down a guy who usually has shown to be very tough to take down. And what impressed me in that fight was he went upstairs with a combination, then ducked in down on the cage to get the takedown, implement his wrestling. And that's going to be the first key to victory. Wrestle early in this fight here against Aaron Jeffries. Jeffries, usually in most of his fights, he will look to grapple. He will look to initiate the wrestling. Let's be the aggressor here, Dalton. Let's go forward. Let's be the one to take the game plan to him. Let's wrestle early here against Aaron Jeffries. Let's not let him dictate where this fight takes place. And the second key to victory here for me is going to be whoever's going forward. I think Dalton needs to be the one pressuring forward. Obviously, as I mentioned, his physical stature is a little bit intimidating for some fighters. And I think that he needs to implement that here against Aaron Jeffries with forward pressure, getting in his face, and just owning the general smart cage here in the PFL. It looks good to the judges. I think this fight could be close, and that could be the deciding factor is that ring generalship in the judges' eyes. So forward pressure is going to be a big factor here as part of our keys to victory. And the third key to victory here is to throw in combinations. What you notice about how he was able to set up that takedown in his last fight, he threw a combination upstairs and then shot in for the legs for the takedown up against the cage. By throwing the combination, that brought the hands up, but also as well, it just gets him a little bit ahead on the volume and the strike count here. Aaron Jeffries can put up numbers. Dalton needs to be able to keep up there in the numbers in the volume department. So those are the key to victories here for me for Dalton. Moneyline play, -120 here as one of our first moneyline plays. And we have another one to talk about in Sergio Pettis here as our underdog play. I like Pettis here against Stout. Rafael Stout is obviously a heavy wrestler, as we all know. Sergio Pettis, fantastic on the ground, very slick BJJ, but also a fantastic kickboxer. And I think that that's going to play a big factor here in this matchup. Both of these guys, former teammates. And realistically, to me, the keys to victory here are the footwork of Sergio Pettis. I think it's very important for him to circle out, circle away from the powerful right hand and the big body kick of Stout. And to me, if you can just keep it off the fence, use your footwork just to be able to make it difficult to get the takedowns, I think that Pettis is the much better striker in terms of just general kickboxing and taekwondo style striking. I think the footwork will be a big key here as part of our first keys to victory. And the second key to victory here is to look to counter. With Stolt obviously being the shorter fighter and, looking to wrestle, we need to make sure that when he does go and throw a strike, that he pays the price of admission for throwing any sloppy kicks, throwing any sloppy right or left hands, just to be able to counter with his speed, with his range and striking advantage here. Look to counter here. You might be able to catch Stolt, who is 36 years old. His chin's been tested in a few of his last fights. Look to counter here, Pettis. We might be able to get him out of there, maybe in one of the later rounds. And the key to victory here for me as a third key to victory is to keep it standing. Obviously, no brainer, right? I think, to be honest with you, this one really just comes down to being able to sprawl and brawl. If he can just make sure he stays off the fence, maybe even just back Stout up, it will make it difficult to get these takedowns. But just keeping this one standing is going to be key. We know that Stout wants to try to get the fight to the ground, very high-level wrestler. But we also know that Pettis has the striking advantage. Keep this one standing. I think he cashes for us here, most likely by decision. We'll talk a little bit about Pettis later on in our prop bets, but I think he gets it done here as an underdog. And as I just mentioned, Sergio Pettis by decision. I think this one is obviously going to be plus money. I think it's most likely going to be, at least maybe plus 300. You'll have to see when these props drop. Obviously, I can't drop them and give you the actual price right now, as sportsbooks don't have them, but I like to get it out to you guys so you guys can be ready to pull the trigger when it does come out. But give me Sergio Pettis here by decision. I think it's probably going to be around the plus 300 mark. Like I said, I think he gets it done with his striking here, lands the better shots. I think Rafael Stoltz will most probably look to be able to get this fight to the ground, but I think Pettis is going to have some tricks up his sleeve to be able to keep this fight standing and ultimately win a decision. And as our second prop here, we have Rafael Xavier by knockout. As I mentioned earlier, Carl Ulbrichtson, I think he struggles with more athletic, fast twitch strikers, and that's exactly what Xavier is. Only this fight's fairly close in the odds. We might be able to get a good number here by first or second round KO. I think that'll be the prop to look for here in this fight. I think Rafael Xavier puts the lights out here with his Muay Thai style. I think that his kicks might even land a head kick or maybe even a straight right hand. He did drop and rock Simeon Powell in their fight twice in the first round. I definitely think a guy like Carl Ulbrichtson is going to be an absolute sitting duck here for this knockout prop. And if you've enjoyed the content, as I always say, hit that like and subscribe button as we talk about what is coming on the channel and what's already been. We have the dog of the week. This week's betting underdog for UFC 317. My favorite betting underdog is live on the channel. Keep an eye out for that one. If you're interested in putting some money down on my favorite underdog, check that video out. Full highlight reel tape and explanation there for you. And we have the full card breakdown, UFC 317, Charles Oliveira, Ilia Topuria in the T-Mobile Arena. Carlos and I do a full card breakdown for that. And these videos should all be popping up for you shortly as we have the full card breakdown here for the PFL World Tournament, the big boys, the middleweights, light heavyweights, and heavyweights. And as always, you know what it is here on the Ground and Pound podcast. We are the big boys. We're the up-and-comers. And if you're enjoying the content here, hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.